Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakudash. I'd also like to give double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well and who teaches our nation this truth. And I also want to give honors to the brothers out there who's teaching this word in truth and sincerity. I just want to come back at you with another lesson. I want to come back at the nation of Israel. Um, you Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and all you Israelites scattered abroad around the earth. I just want to come back at you with another lesson. And this particular lesson is, it's just plain and simple. Um, we just need to wake up. That's what I'm going to title this video. Um, we need to wake up like yesterday, ASAP. And the reason why I say that is because this world, every single day, is increasingly getting worse. Like, it's it's ridiculously getting worse. For example, I don't think that these cops out here are going to stop killing Jake. I don't think that um, I've been hearing a word going around, called reparations. That's laughable because we ain't getting nothing. We're not getting nothing from Esau. And that's just all a hoax just to get basically your votes that don't even count. But anyways, let's get into it. But before we hit the scriptures, there's something. Basically, when you read these scriptures, um, for the most part, I don't want to say for the most part, but sometimes these scriptures are written in symbolic terms, meaning um, if a word is stated a certain way, like for example, trees in the Bible could also represent man. The wind in the Bible could also represent destruction. I can go into it and get that, but then that would kind of be veering off topic. But I just have to lay that foundation because what we're about to get to, Ezekiel chapter 37, it's actually gonna go into the valley of the dry bones. And if you read this passage carnally, then pretty much you won't get it, or it might not make sense, or you might think, "What the? This is." You won't get it. So you have to look at this through a spiritual eye, and hopefully, this will be edifying to the elect. This is Ezekiel chapter 37, and I'm gonna start at the top, verse 1. The hand of Yahweh was upon me, and carried me out in the spirit of the Lord, and set me down in the midst of the valley which was full of bones. Verse 2. And caused me to pass by them round about, and behold, there were very many in the open valley, and lo, they were very dry. Salakia. Verse 3. And he said unto me, Son of man, can these bones live? And I answered, O Yahweh, thou knowest. So let me stop right there, just to give a little context. So verse 1 through 3, um, basically this prophet is looking at a whole group of people. Just think of a prophet looking at a nation of people. I mean, I'm gonna just get the answer away. Just think of the prophets um, looking into the future, and they're looking at the nation of Israel. That's the nation of Israel in this passage represents the valley. They represent the bones. They represent the valley of the dry bones. That's basically what this is going into. Verse 4. And he said unto me, Prophesy upon these bones, and say unto them, O ye dry bones, hear the word of the Lord. Thus saith Yahweh Bashem Yahushai unto these bones, Behold, I will cause breath to enter into you, and ye shall live. And I will lay sinews upon you, and will bring flesh upon you, and cover you with skin, and put breath in you, and you shall live, and ye shall know that I am Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. So like I mentioned before, if you are looking at this passage carnally, it probably wouldn't make sense. The Lord isn't physically talking about putting skin and covering you up, and covering up individual because they are literally because their bones are showing. Like that doesn't even make sense. This is talking about this truth. This is talking about putting on basically the covering of this truth. So I think of the example, when somebody gets out the shower or you're getting ready for work, ain't nobody in their right mind just about to walk out the house naked, so to speak. You're gonna put on some clothes. You're gonna put on your socks, your underwear, your jeans, your beanie if it's cold outside, and basically you're preparing yourself for the day, or you're preparing yourself for what's about to come. But that's just your skin carnally. And that's why the Lord is using this example, because you have to think of this truth as putting on like an armor. Like you have to think of this truth as putting on like a spiritual covering, so to speak, so that way you could withstand everything that the devil throws at you. That's also in the scriptures. But getting back to the point, that's where verse 6 is going into. Let's continue reading with verse 7. So I prophesied as I was commanded, and as I prophesied, there was a noise, and behold, a shaking, and the bones came together, bone to his bone. And when and when I beheld, lo, the sinews, Salakia, and the flesh came upon them, and the skin covered them, but there was no breath in them. So the Lord right here, he's basically well, the prophet, he's watching this happen, and he's obviously writing this down. But as the prophet is watching these bones kind of come together, so to speak, that is representing the nation of Israel waking up. So for all you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and all of you Israelites that are part of the 12 tribes of Israel and that are scattered abroad, if you are waking up to this truth, or if you're already woke, you are literally Ezekiel 37. Literally, you are Ezekiel 37 playing out right before your eyes. So I'll take me personally. Me personally, for example, I haven't been in the truth for very long. Or let me put it this way, I haven't been woke for very long to this truth. Um, but when I see another brother wake up, and who's younger than me in this truth, they also represent the valley of the dry bones. For example, like for verse 7, there was a so I prophesied as I was commanded, and as I prophesied there was a noise, and behold, a shaking, and the bones came together, bone to his bone. And when I behold, lo, the sinews and the flesh came upon them. The flesh came upon them. The truth is coming upon them. They're discovering, oh, I'm an Israelite. Oh, that's Esau. Oh, that's this. Oh, that's that. I'm not supposed to eat pork. Oh man, I'm supposed to keep my beard. That's what's happening here. And behold, Salakia, where was I at? Verse 8. And when I behold, lo, the sinews and the flesh came upon them, and the skin was covered, and the skin covered them, but there was no breath in them. I'm gonna keep reading verse 9. Then he said unto me, prophesy unto the wind, prophesy, son of man, and say to the wind, thus saith Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, come from the four winds, O breath, and breathe upon these slain, that they may live. So I prophesied as he commanded me, and the breath came upon them, and they lived, and stood upon their feet in an exceeding great army. I'm going to read that again. Verse 10. So I prophesied as he commanded me, and the breath came upon them, and the breath came into them, Salakia, and they lived, and stood upon them, and stood upon their feet, an exceeding great army. Right. So this is what you're seeing today. So for all you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans who are woke, if you are seeing your fellow brethren wake up to this truth, if you are seeing the apostles week in, week out, every Saturday, every, you name it, sit downs, they pushing the videos, going out there on the highways and byways, the apostles doing it, the some brothers out there doing it. Whether you're in America, whether you're scattered in Britain, London, it doesn't matter. We are witnessing Ezekiel 37 right before our eyes. In verse 10, an exceeding great army standing upon their feet. That's happening right now. The Lord is literally having an army raised up in the land of their captivity. And that's also prophesied in the scriptures. But Ezekiel 37 is basically kind of like the foundation on how we're waking up to this truth. The Lord is putting clothes on us. He's putting we're not naked anymore. Um, you got to put on this truth, Israel. You have to put on this truth because Esau is about to crack down on everybody because he's about to lose his kingdom. And if you don't have the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash upon you or with you, there's no hope for you. You will not make it. Matter of fact, I guarantee you will not make it. You have to have the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Because Jacob's trouble is coming. Martial law is coming. The chip, the ultimate test is coming. And you have to be prepared for what's about to happen because knowledge and wisdom will be the stability of thy times. Meaning you have to know this truth in order, this truth is what's going to keep you stable when all hell breaks loose. So when you see somebody dying, women getting raped, children getting taken away from their parents, people getting put in concentration camps, you name it, people stealing, killing, robbing, and destroying, all hell breaking loose in your local streets, the only thing that's going to keep you stable is this truth. That's it. That is it. So your pastor can't help you. You're for damn sure ain't gonna be going to church on Sunday in those days. Your friend can't help you. Your local bishop or missionary, you name it. You have to have this truth. So you have to put on the whole armor of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai in order to make it. And that's your salvation. So technically, well, this is the truth. In order to be saved, you have to know this truth. That's it. So you have to know. So it's not enough to know that you're just an Israelite. It's not enough to know that, okay, well, I just won't eat bacon no more. No, 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 no. Or celebrate these holidays. No, 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 no. You have to put on the whole armor of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai because you have to eat the whole roll. Meaning you have to take everything in. So if you believe that you're an Israelite and you came to America on you came to America for slavery on ships, referencing Deuteronomy 28:68, then you also have to believe that Esau is the so-called white man. It goes hand in hand. That's the balance. You have to you guys hopefully you guys get the point. I'm going to get one more scripture that links up to exactly what we just read. This is Luke chapter, let's go, Luke chapter 1, and I'm going to start at verse 77, and then we'll read down to the point. Actually, let's just get to the point. This is Luke chapter 1, verse 79. I'll start at verse 78 at the top. Through the tender mercy of Yahweh, whereby the day spring from on high has visited us. Verse 79. To give light to them that sit in darkness. What's the darkness? The valley of the shadow of death. And if you really want to get technical and deeper, that's America. Every day you Israelites are walking through the valley of the shadow of death. It's called that because you guys don't have any covering. You guys don't know this truth. You guys don't know who your enemy or is. You guys don't know that the reason why Esau will just shoot you down in the streets, but there's no justice. You guys don't know why that they're vaccinating your children, but saying it's really good for you. But ultimately, that stuff will make your children. Come on, man. Come on, man. Just do your research. Open your eyes. And that's why you have to be woke. Because if you're not woke, you have no covering, man, and it's just a free for all. It's just a free for all, and Esau has every right and leeway to do whatever he wants to you because you're not coming back to your power. But let me read on. I'm going to start over. Verse 79. This is Luke chapter 1, verse 79. To give light to them that sit in darkness and in the shadow of death, to guide our feet into the way of peace. Come on, man. I'm going to read that again. To give light to them that sit in darkness and in the shadow of death, to guide our feet into the way of peace. So this scripture links up with Ezekiel 37 because if you don't have this truth, basically you're just in complete chaos. Like you don't you don't have any knowledge. You have no knowledge. And you have to basically, this truth is going to guide you. It guides you in a way that it's going to lead you to the kingdom. That's as just as simplest as I can put it. Because most people are so carnal, they'll look at like they can't look at the big picture, so to speak. And Israel has to look at the big picture. So Israel might look at their state right now, referring to, I believe it's Malachi, and they might say to themselves, "Man, the Lord don't love us. The Lord don't really like us. Look at our state. Look at where we're at." But if Israel really looked at the big picture, Israel would understand that this is only for a moment. This is like this slavery is just it's it, it it's like going to be a dream, like the scripture says. Like you're waking up from a bad dream. And once that time is over, once slavery is over for us, once the so-called white man Esau goes down, we're going to be in rulership for forever. Yahweh Shai is going to be ruling with us for forever. We're going to be joint heirs to Yahweh Shai. And that's ultimately the big picture, and that's ultimately the best good news. But that's in the kingdom. But as of right now, Ezekiel 37 is playing out right before our eyes, because before we get to the kingdom, you have to put off that old man and put on a new man. Before you get to the kingdom, you have to have this truth. Before you get to the kingdom, you have to have a covering. And that's what the Lord is doing exactly right now as we speak. So hopefully this was edifying to the elect. And until the next time, I want to say shalom.